Hello, everybody. Welcome to MangaPod. We are a weekly podcast in which we all get together after we've read all or part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. This week we are discussing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Part 2, Battle Tendency, or Volumes 5 through 8, Chapters 45 through 80. I am Erin of HappiLeeErin, your host, and with me are two of my three lovely co-hosts, as well as a very special guest who we would not have anybody else on for JoJo's. It would be wrong. And
it would
kind
feel
of like a sin. It'd be a sin to not have him here.
Well, thank you. That's very flattering.
You're welcome.
Yeah, oh, thank you.
Let's go ahead and have everybody introduce themselves, please.
Hi guys, I'm Dodger, and over here you can see some of my laundry that isn't dry yet, and over here we have a couple cords, and I don't know where they go.
I don't even know if they can.
MangaPod.
Oh, they can see that. I was like, I don't even know if they can see it, but they can.
Plot twist.
This is very JoJo's introduction, Dodger. My name's Lou. I'm from Lou Talks Anime, and I just finished resubbing to Dodger. It's 8 months. How's it going, everybody?
Oh, wait. Is it my turn now?
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, hey, what's up? I'm Octo, and I reject my humanity.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This goof didn't go. Actually, this goof wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be, but I really have to commit. So I'm going to wear this for the entire podcast.
Perfect.
But wait, you shouldn't have to wear it for the whole podcast, right? Just
yeah.
up until the point where you become a vampire,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, and then I can take it off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
we'll wait. Hang on, I gotta put blood on. I gotta go get some blood.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope, goof over. That was dumb. I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to deal with that, everybody. Hi, what's up?
Yeah.
It was great.
Thanks. That's it.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
Octo.
I was
I'm here to
waiting.
talk about
I was
JoJo's.
waiting.
No, there's nothing else to
Like-
say about me.
You're lovely and wonderful, and you do great stuff.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody likes the things that I do. But yeah,
Thank you.
anyway, I'm Octo. I do show called 50% off, and I like JoJo's a whole lot. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. We're so happy to have you. And everybody who is watching, if you've never joined us for a MangaPod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga that we read, aka summary, that will be read by our resident JoJo vampire. And then we'll give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to... Wow. Hardcore spit.
Yeah,
everywhere.
hot.
Spend time reading this manga or not. Monger? Wow.
Keep it going. Keep it going.
That way, if it
Stack.
sounds like something you're interested in and you don't want to be spoiled, when we get to the spoiler section, you can take your leave, go read it, come back and watch the VOD of this on youtube.com/HappiLeeErin. The previous JoJo podcast is also there. We ask that nobody in chat post any spoilers for anything until we get to spoiler section, and then after that, don't post anything for spoilers past what we read. Okay? Thanks. Don't do it. Rotten bacon butts. You don't want to be a rotten bacon butt. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I thought my printer was going off, and I was very confused. Anyway.
It's just putting out a sign that says, "Hey, don't spoil anything."
Rotten.
Hey,
it's
stop.
just like rotten bacon butt. I'm like, I didn't even know we had a picture for that.
I wish I had my poop signs.
Yeah,
Octo's
where-
given me 2 poop signs so
Two.
far
Count 'em,
that I
two.
just have in my office.
Are
to
they
use.
like the emoji poop? Or are they just like...
They just say poop.
It says the word.
But they are basically identical. You have very consistent handwriting.
They're
because
handwritten?
Yeah, she was doing the no swear stream, and so I was gonna like open the door while she was concentrating, and then walk in with the sign that said poop, and like dance behind her and say poop. But as soon as I cracked the door just a little bit, she was already looking at it and told me to get out. I just slid the sign underneath the door.
And it was very funny. And then yesterday, I don't remember why it happened yesterday, but yesterday slipped another sign that said poop under my door, and I was like, this is great.
Because you were being too loud and you came out and told us to be quiet, so I just did it again.
Yeah, and then Jesse was like, "Are you streaming right now? Are you streaming right now?" And he started like marching toward my door, and I was like, "No!" And I like shut it and locked it.
So then
And
you
then I
slipped
looked back
another-
over, there was a sign that just said poop. Anyway,
I love it.
welcome to MangaPod.
I love it. Welcome to
Hey, what up?
MangaPod. All right, Octo, do you mind reading or giving a summary of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2?
I mean, the synopsis that's on my anime list.
Yeah, you can do that.
Or
Alright.
make up your own.
Yeah.
Whatever
Okay.
feels right.
I'll kind of freestyle it based on the synopsis. Second story of the JoJo no Kimio Naboken series, that's the Japanese name for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, takes place in the 1930s and follows the misadventures of Joseph Joestar, the grandson of Jonathan Joestar, as he fights vampires and ancient super beings with some help from a cybernetically enhanced Nazi and an Italian man he has a lot in common with, but would never admit that to you. He would never admit that. But they... So yeah, that's
Like a
pretty much the long and short of it.
Yeah, it's pretty concise.
Mhm.
I just like the Italian man he has a lot in common with.
Yeah.
Like that.
So
They're just dudes being dudes.
just bros being dudes.
Just bros being dudes. Guys being boys.
When the JoJo
Boys
anime,
being guys.
so the first season of the JoJo anime was parts 1 and 2. When the first anime came out, the first season of the anime that covered both Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency, whoo boy, there was a whole lot of Italian man and Joseph Joestar art that came out. Let me tell you,
I bet.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
yeah,
There were like splash pages along this entire thing where their faces are basically just
Like
smushed
smooshed?
against each other.
Yeah.
I was like,
If
Mhm.
I hadn't found the picture that I currently have on the splash screen, the other option was the one where like their faces are all smooshed and they're looking at the camera. I was like, I could use this one. And
Yeah.
people who don't know what JoJo's are about, I'm gonna get all those yaoi fangirls in here.
yeah, they're like, what's this about?
What this? Well, I
Yeah.
remember when because we watched part 1 and 2 for, I think it was my birthday, or I think it was just an anime pajama party. I
It
don't
was
think
a
it was
pajama
birthday.
party, yeah.
Yeah.
pajama party.
Yeah, pajama party.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Nailed
that,
it.
That.
A
And so-
Joestar party.
Sorry. So we watched it, and we started at like 8, 9 in the morning, and we went till super late at night. But we watched all of it, and it was amazing. And I remember we were making lots of comments on their bromance.
Oh
during
yeah.
that. It was
Mhm.
pretty
It's hard not to.
Mhm.
To be real.
So let's do spoiler-free recommendations. Would you guys recommend this? How would you recommend it? With your feelings, but make sure it's spoiler-free.
Who wants to start?
I'll go
I can-
first.
oh.
Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. I didn't mean to cut off your enthusiasm, Aaron, but I feel it's important to get these feelings
I'll
out.
have it back. I'll have
I
it
love
back.
JoJo's. I'm still relatively new to JoJo's as a piece of media. I've seen the first anime, so Phantom Blood and Battle Tendency. I've seen all of that. I've seen half of Stardust Crusaders. I'm in the process of working my way through that. Really enjoyed the anime, so I decided to pick up the manga. So I have these hardcovers. Also have the rest of it up there top shelf because it is top shelf worthy. It's great stuff. I highly recommend this manga. It has a unique feel to it that I don't think you could find anywhere else. And if you're into battle manga with some quirky sensibilities and just something that's not afraid to poke fun at itself as well, which I think this part of the manga clearly is Araki poking fun at what he's done so far. Yeah, I think this is something that you would highly enjoy. Like if you have similar taste to me, then you'll definitely enjoy it.
I agree. It's just so ridiculous and so much fun. And I just can't, the entire time I was reading it, I was just entertained constantly. And I love, like, there's times with the art, I'm like, what is happening? What is happening here? But it's so
Yeah.
consistently ridiculous like that I just can't hate on it too much. I just love the characters. It's all insanity. It's just so much fun is like the best word. And like Lou said, it doesn't take itself seriously. So if you want something that's fun and so many people so many people love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and I think it's one that is pretty classic and that people should give a chance, just to see what everybody loves about it, because it's just awesome. I adore JoJo's.
I felt like what we read of part 2 was kind of weak. Not because, like, overall, yeah, JoJo's just in general is like a crazy fever dream, right?
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah, a lot of the fights are like that.
Yeah, it felt like a lot of because the art is kind of like exaggerated, not kind of, it is extremely exaggerated and sort of surreal at points. Because some of the battles go on for a really long time, the art style sort of obfuscates them, and it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. So I found that while I was reading it, even though there were definitely plenty of moments where I was like, yeah, this is fun and silly and whatever, there were also lots of moments where I felt kind of lost and was just kind of like, okay, when's this fight going to end so that we can move on, you know? So I didn't enjoy reading this as much as I enjoyed watching it. And maybe that's one of the problems, is that I watched it first, but
I would agree with that too. Now you say that, I would totally agree with that.
Yeah. Wait, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I really like part 2. I think it's an improvement from part 1, which makes sense because, well, you know, part 1 was his first entry into the series. So I think he kind of wanted to take it a little farther and push it a little farther in part 2. And I like it for the characters. I find the main character to be much, 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 much more fun. And in fact, I think he's one of the strongest written JoJo's of all of them, and one of the funniest and the easiest to sort of like root for, like, and kind of be like, I like this character. You know, he's fun and funny. But I agree with you in that, and that's sort of a problem that lasts throughout the entire series, is that sometimes you're looking at a fight and you're like, I don't know what's happening here. There'll be a panel, and without revealing too much information, there's an entire chapter in part 6 that I almost had to just skip because I didn't know what the heck was happening. I was like, I don't know what this fight is. Like, I don't understand this at all. And it wasn't like a conceptual problem. It was just the art is just too mishmash, and like there's angles are too weird. So that there is some of that in part 2 for sure. But overall, yes, I think Battle Tendency is a really great entry into this series. I'd put it in my probably top 4 parts probably. So yeah, check it out. I think it's good. It's good stuff.
Octo, out of curiosity, what is your favorite part?
Part 4. Part 4 is my favorite part. Yeah, definitely. Diamond is Unbreakable is the best. But yeah. So yeah, definitely recommended.
Awesome. All right. So that wraps up our spoiler-free section. If it sounds like something you're interested in and not wanting to be spoiled on, now's the time to take your leave, and then you can go read it, come back and watch our discussion on it at a later time. The VOD of this goes up immediately after the show. So go ahead, do that now. Countdown, please.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
JoJo's is got.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Right.
JoJo goes back in time to save Robert Speedwagon, and it turns out that Robert Speedwagon is the most important person in that universe, and he saves all the soul gems and becomes God and
becomes Sailor Moon.
And becomes Sailor Moon.
To save Neo Tokyo.
It's to save Neo Tokyo.
Speedwagon is Serenity.
Yeah.
Yep.
He is Queen Serenity.
Yeah.
Can you guys imagine Sailor Moon with Speedwagon as Serenity?
Yeah, and
Yes.
Smokey is
I want that. I want
Chip Moon.
I just want,
my God.
like, I just want all of JoJo's characters as the Sailor Scouts.
Oh, that's gotta,
yeah.
that
would
has to exist.
That exists somewhere.
There's gotta be a fan art and a fan fiction of that.
Oh yeah.
But we're not going down that fan fiction hole just yet.
Again? Yeah, we're not doing that. Maybe later. I don't know. We did that last time.
All it took was one simple Google search, and here it is.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah!
What were you gonna say, Dodger?
I was gonna say, when I started reading it, I was like, oh man, I forgot how he draws like Americans and Mexicans and like all of the different groups of people that we met. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yep.
There it is.
Yep, it's there. You know how we met the officer, right? The German officer. Did we meet him?
Yes.
Yeah. Then
Yeah, you know that's what Guile is based on, right? That hair is what Guile.
Guile is based on him.
Yeah, Guile is based on Stroheim.
That's amazing.
Yep.
that's
badass.
awesome.
Yep. Mhm.
Dude, JoJo's is great.
Yeah, JoJo's has inspired a lot of character design from a lot of other things. Benimaru from King of Fighters is based on a character from Part 3. There's like, so much stuff is borrowed from this series. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's but yeah, he definitely, like, when you see, because when Smokey in the, I can't believe that's his name.
I know. I was like, God damn it.
Like,
When you see him in the anime, it's not
Shoot.
that bad. Like he doesn't look that bad, but in the manga, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
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 Oh, Smokey.
Yeah.
Aw,
Oh,
sweet
Smokey.
Smokey.
Sweet Smokey. So let's go ahead and do. I mean, this is kind of I don't know about it, but we usually start with the question: what were you expecting before reading this manga? All of us have, I think. Lou, had you seen the anime before you read this part?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
all seen
So
it.
we've all seen the anime. I've only read part 1 of the manga. I haven't read past that. So who all, other than Octo, who all had previously read part 2 of this? Had any of us? No, nobody. And it's been a really long time since we read part 1. That was a real long time ago.
That was a while ago.
Honestly, I think the thing that was the hardest for me, I think because I've recently watched Diamond is Unbreakable, the hardest thing about coming back to this manga, like especially the earlier parts of this manga, is I was like, oh my God, none of the bodies make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't make sense. None of them. Like
Yeah.
when it's animated, specifically Diamond is Unbreakable did a really good job of just like making it so that it still looks really aesthetically pleasing, even when it in its most bizarre moments, you know? And so like coming to part 2 and reading the manga, I was like, oh my God, what is your body doing?
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
Some of the
This is
eyes
one
just-
panel that kind of like stood out to me.
Yes. Like, what is...
Which one?
Here's his leg, which is like 3 miles long.
Oh yeah.
It's just like, it's just insanity. And like when they're like bent over backwards, I'm just like, where is your spine? Do you
Oh my God,
have one?
Whenever somebody's falling and their hands are like twisted, you're just like, oh, I'm falling.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I think the one that always stands out to me is AC/DC's face when he's crying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That one. Okay, so I'm trying to look it up, but Araki was really inspired by this one fashion illustrator, and I wish, like, down to Kars's outfit is like directly taken from one of these fashion drawings, and it's actually pretty interesting. And even that specific panel, that one of AC/DC, I'll try and find it, but yeah, it's really, a lot of his stuff was like I said, inspired by fashion drawings from the 80s. So it sort of is very elongated forms,
Yeah.
you know, sort of crazy, nonsensical body proportions, things like that.
I think
Yeah.
one of mine, I sent it in our WhatsApp chat.
What's up?
What's up chat? Is the one where like JoJo's talking to the girl after he saved her from Straits. And he's like standing there, and here, I wonder if I can do it. But he's just like he's on his tiptoes and his
Yeah.
my toes. But he's just like on his toes, bent, knees bent, and doing this. And I'm like, what? No one stands like that, JoJo. What are you doing?
It's
Are you,
still
like,
on guard.
Michael Jackson right now?
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot
It's
of
so great.
a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just awesome. Yeah, so it's been a long time since we did part 1. And I honestly wasn't expecting this to be really different from the anime. I remember parts of the anime, but I don't remember because we watched it so fast. We watched a big old chunk of it. And so I couldn't quite remember what exactly happened in this. Like, I knew what happened, but I didn't know where and all of that. And so for the first little bit, I was like, where's Dio? Why is there Dio here? And then I remembered Dio is not in this part.
Right.
I was like,
He's at the bottom
waiting.
of the ocean, question mark, something like that.
Question mark. And so, yeah, I couldn't quite remember what was all happening, but once I got into it, it was coming back to me. And so I wasn't expecting it to be any different from the anime that I had seen. And it really didn't seem like it was that different at all, if at all.
All right. Since you mentioned Dio, how do you think the Pillar Men measure up in terms of like as an antagonist compared to Dio?
I always found the Pillarmen to be much, much scarier than Dio.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're sort of like, they can't be reasoned with. They can't, they're like, they don't even see humans as like on the same level as them. Like
they don't live
like,
any part of their life as just a person.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Dio, while a maniac and a psychopath, was human at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But the Pillarmen were not at all. So I just found them because they just nothing affects them. They don't care. Because Dio was always very intense as a villain. But the Pillarmen are just aloof. They don't care. Nothing bothers them. They know that nothing can defeat them really except the sun. And so they were just a lot scarier than Dio to me. I liked them a lot from that perspective, that they just were a force of nature rather than, like Terminators. They're a force of nature rather than just, bad guys, if that makes sense.
Oh, Alex, I found the panel of...
Yeah,
that one. Yeah,
it's his break face.
Yeah. Also, here
throwing it way back.
So that
Oh, okay.
So that's I linked it in our chat, but like
Interesting.
Yeah, and then where's Shadow Dio? Yeah, you can tell that like he's taken a lot of inspiration from like 80s fashion drawings. There you go.
Yeah.
This one. So I mean it's literally
it's literally the pose.
It's literally
like
the same
Dio's pose. That's Dio's
Yeah.
pose. Yeah.
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 So-
Oh yeah. Okay.
So it's pretty cool. So that sort of is, you can sort of see the very exaggerated physique and things like that. But yeah, I as far as the Pillarmen go, I think they're pretty interesting. Also, I like that even though they are sort of forces of nature and unstoppable, they do definitely have personalities.
Yeah.
Like they're not just, flat cardboard cutout bad guys that, kill you by absorbing you. They just are, they actually do have personalities, and they do have little quirks to each of them, which is nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I felt like Joseph, I get that he's supposed to be like a really stark contrast, being like a really vulgar, just like whatever sort of kid.
Yeah.
In comparison to Jonathan. But I felt like his character, at least up until the point that we read, is really inconsistent. Like not only that, but like the way that everybody talks about him is inconsistent. From one panel to the next, they'll be like, "Wow, he's got such a pure heart. Man, he's really what a beautiful, talented soul." And then in the next panel, it'll be like, "What a fucking piece of shit. I hate this kid so much."
Yeah.
I love that though.
That's called having layers, Dodger.
Yeah, come on.
He's a multifaceted character.
Nope.
Layers. Yeah, I mean, he's much like an ogre. He has layers, and he I don't know. I think that's sort of funny. I always thought that joke was great. Is that like, he'll do something great. He'll do something and it's like, wow, that was really altruistic. And he's like, no, actually, I didn't give a shit. And they're like, Joseph. Like, I always think that's funny, but that always tickled my funny bone. But Yeah, I like him more than Jonathan because Jonathan is a very shonen protagonist. He's very, I have to do what's right all the time, and I'm a gentleman, and this, that, and the other thing. And Joseph's like, fuck you, you know, like I'm a piece of shit. I don't care. I do what works, and I don't care what I have to say or do, you know. And so I kind of like that he works on his own terms that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. He's just so. I mean, I can't say I'm like. I don't even know what I'm saying. He's just so silly. There's parts where I'm like, Joseph, what are you doing? You silly thing.
What should I do to get revenge on you? Pinch your whole naked body?
Yeah.
I was like, why is that the first fucking thing you think of?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you naked and pinch you. It's like, what?
Why? I guess it would hurt.
I guess that would suck.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just so ridiculous. But I do agree. I think he's a lot better, like a much better character than Jonathan was. At least I enjoy reading about him more than I enjoyed reading about Jonathan. And
I do feel though that I was much more invested in Jonathan winning.
Oh,
than
yeah, I would agree.
In Joseph winning.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
With Jonathan, I was like, he threw your dog in a fucking kill that motherfucker. Like, take his down. I want you to win so bad.
His motivation, like, definitely hit me a lot more than Joseph's did, because Speedwagon wasn't even dead. Like, his whole thing was like, I'm gonna go get revenge for Speedwagon, and then Speedwagon's alive. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also, wait, okay, so at the point that we're at in the manga now, they keep referencing that he didn't know anything about the ripple until like recently.
Yeah.
But from the point that we like start the manga, he's using it. So when did he fucking learn about the ripple?
I think he always okay. So I think he's innately had it, but it wasn't like fully awakened, because now this is a real deep cut. This is a reference. But yeah, so in part 1, there's a point where Zeppeli is watching Jonathan, and he touches a tree and he makes the tree bloom because he has the ripple, but he doesn't really know how to use it. So I think Joseph can kind of do these little party tricks, you know, like shooting the cap off the soda and, you know, that kind of thing. But he can't do any of the crazy shit that Lisa can.
Right.
So I think that's kind of how it is.
I'm so glad that you said her name first, because I was like, I can't remember what her name is, and I'm just gonna call her like
Lisa.
Jolene or something crazy.
That's not for like 20 years, but you're close.
Jolene.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that Joseph did was when he was first showed up wherever, Mexico, I think it was where he went, or where he dressed up as the lady and came in with tequila.
Yep.
Where he had.
I mean, I was confused. I was certain that was 100%.
It was disguised.
That was a pretty lady.
That was actually.
I was shocked.
The first thing I've ever seen of JoJo's was the GIF, from the anime of him like looking up dressed as the lady, and I was just like, I remember this. But I think it was that part where he had his goggles and he flicked the lens and it exploded, and like that's how he killed the guy or hurt the guy. I don't know if you guys noticed, but later he has his goggles again, and I don't know if he just has an extra pair, but the lens was no longer broken.
I mean, you always listen. In the 30s,
defend that, Octo.
Everyone carried an extra pair of goggles in the 30s. That's a documented fact. Yeah.
I loved it. But no, there's just
I'm sure he could use the ripple to repair it, you know?
Yeah, he can do all sorts of weird stuff like that.
Yeah. That was I just noticed that. Because he does that shit all the time. Like, it's just so ridiculous. Just, like, flicking. Or the guy shooting the bullets out his finger. Like, there's just so much.
Oh, yeah. There's so much weird stuff.
It's so weird.
Oh my god, when fucking, is it AC/DC who like lifts up his
Oh,
fingernails?
the toenails, and it comes out. As I was reading that, I distinctly remember going, "I'm gonna talk about this because why? Why would you do that?
Why? Oh my god.
And all the veins and then arteries and stuff that he's yeah, that's rough.
Like having
There's-
it be stringy artery? No.
There's
Like,
a bit.
Stop.
Yeah,
No.
that always squicked me out a little bit. There's some like normally the gore in JoJo's is so over the top ridiculous that it doesn't get to me, but the minutia things like that will really like the stuff that you
Yeah.
wouldn't really think about that's so specific is just like ugh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's along the same lines of like anytime I'm watching a movie and there's like some kind of a torture scene where they even hint that they might pull off somebody's fingernail, I'm like, I'm out, I'm not watching,
Yeah.
I can't watch.
I hate it.
But I'm totally down to watch a show where they're doing full on like open heart surgery, right? Like it's just like
Yeah.
there's just something about those things where you can imagine the pain a little bit.
yeah.
I don't know.
There. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I stubbed my toe like 2 months ago, and I broke the toenail off, but it didn't quite come off, and so I was experiencing it, and it was so. As I was reading it, I was like having flashbacks to when it's horrible. I have a really short toenail now.
There's one comic. This is sort of in the same vein of why that whole like creeping you out thing. But it always reminded me of there's a panel in Marvel Zombies where Spider-Man's a zombie and he realizes that he doesn't have any webbing, and so he like goes to shoot and his veins and arteries come out, and there's a giant speech bubble where he goes, my veins and arteries, and that just makes me laugh really hard.
I own that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Nasty.
Yeah, that one makes me laugh, but it's just like like when you can see his arteries and stuff coming out and like the like little blood dripping down, I'm just like, yeah.
What did you guys think about Straits? The battle with Straits.
That's the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the
That
vampire.
was fight is so dumb.
So dumb.
He becomes young, and then he does a bunch of fucked up shit, and then he's like, I'm just gonna blow myself up because at least I got to be young again. It's like, what is this?
Yeah.
It was a weak introduction to everything that was going on, I think.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
once we got the Pillarmen, then the ball really started
Yes.
to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
from that
I
point
wanted to
forward.
get through that fight real quick. I was like, okay, I don't even care about you.
I think it was sort of just like, hey, remember what happened in part 1? That's still a thing.
Yeah.
And so they needed to remind you that vampires existed and were, a thing that could happen,
Mhm.
and they can be killed by grenades. So,
That's
yeah.
a good thing to remember.
Yeah, and kill them with
If I ever
grenades, yeah.
encounter a vampire, chucking
blow-
one of my many grenades I carry around at it.
Exactly.
Well,
But yeah, no, they that was that fight is just sort of there to be like, this is sort of the tone of the manga. It also, he sort of has they do the whole like the next thing you're gonna say is, because
Yeah.
he says that a whole lot.
So dumb.
Like-
so lame.
Well, no, it's great.
It's pretty badass.
I
Not
think
gonna lie.
it's a combination of like badass and dumb. Like there are times where I'm like
really dumb.
yeah, do it, and then other times I'm like, oh, you silly.
Well, I mean, it's like one of those things where it's such an iconic catchphrase for him. The
Yeah.
next thing you're gonna say is, "I've got you now, Joseph Joestar. There's no escape," and then they say it.
And their
that's
reaction's like, ooh.
yeah, and they're like, "Oh." Yeah, in the game, in All-Star Battle, that's actually a move you can do. It's like where he'll say, the next thing you're gonna say is, and then he'll say something as the character, which is funny because he has lines for characters that exist in like 5 parts after him. Yeah.
Oh shoot, what was I gonna say?
How'd y'all feel about Miku Miku?
Wait, do you mean Lisa?
Yeah, I thought that was
Like,
an obvious joke.
I
It was.
I thought that's what you meant, and then I was like, is there another character I
It
forgot
took a
about?
second to process.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
Not gonna lie.
No, because I forget about characters, so I was like, uh-oh.
Oh no, was there a Miku Miku in this?
Oh, is Hatsune Miku actually a JoJo's character?
I wouldn't be
Um,
surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Lisa. I think she's great. I think she's a totally badass, cool, Hamon warrior.
Yeah.
Like
Super
from
great.
what we've seen of her in this section of reading, I think she's introduced that way. I want to see her develop a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which I know because I've seen the anime. I've seen how her character pans out.
Yeah.
But based specifically on this section, I think you guys all nailed in terms of like who she is as a character. She's just a badass that has a large burden on her shoulders.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she's
Agreed.
pretty great. I like Lisa a lot. For being a female character in
was
a
just gonna say
shonen
that.
manga.
Yeah.
In what is it? Ugh, when did this come out? 1989.
89, I think.
89. It's the same age as me.
It's pretty. That's actually pretty awesome. She is pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
she's written pretty well and stuff.
Mhm.
You know, for
Yeah.
being a lady in a shonen manga in the late 80s.
I love her outfits in that she's dressed like she's not there to just show boobs and ass and all of that. Like her outfits are awesome. Her outfits, I'm like, that is something I could like realistically seeing her wear at that time, which is
Asking
awesome.
everything, yeah.
Yeah, it looks great. What did you guys think about Caesar?
Oh, Shiza. Anyway, you guys
What a
first.
sweet angry boy.
It's like, I loved his intro. His intro is still so funny to me. Always love that intro. I loved it in the anime. I love it here.
Pigeon in her mouth.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I knew you would kiss her again, so I put a pigeon in her mouth. Like, what the fuck?
I love
It was
it
great.
so much.
I like his whole thing with the eating the spaghetti and throwing the spaghetti
Yes.
noodles. That's also really good. Yeah.
It's like he grabbed it with the pasta noodle.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's just like so earnest.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it funny to me is like he so badly wants to be like the Jonathan of this story. You know?
the protagonist.
Mhm.
He really does. And I think that's funny. I think he's there to sort of like honestly, I think Joseph takes the edge off of Caesar because Caesar's so serious.
Yeah.
But they're there to balance each other out, you know, because if everything was like goofy all the time, I would definitely love it, but that might not be the mainstream appeal. So he has a character for people who want both. You know, if you want somebody fun and comic reliefy, you get Joseph, and if you want someone who's like more serious and badass, you definitely get Caesar.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the Sasuke Naruto, if
It's
you will.
Sasuke Naruto, yeah.
And they play off each other so well. Yeah.
Like I like that Caesar's there as a character to really explain the nature of Haman, since Joseph isn't really reliable since he is just new with this ability, at least at this level. So I like how he fills that role, but that aside, just he oozes charisma, and I just really enjoy what we've seen of him so far.
I keep thinking about the pigeon.
The bit right?
It's so weird. I was like, that's the punching through the horse of this manga so far.
And that's why it's so perfect.
Do you mean the bit where the guy's hiding inside the horse?
Yeah, and he pops out.
Yeah.
So good. Who was it? Jack the Ripper who was hiding in the horse?
I believe it was.
It was Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper was hiding inside the horse, and he was also a vampire.
Yeah. So if you guys have never read this manga before, there you go.
When we say that it's fucking weird, hopefully you get a good idea now.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the guy with the bag on his head, and the bag was also filled with snakes from part 1.
Oh yeah.
That
was great.
Really good. He was really good too. Anyway.
What a pure soul.
So many great characters.
Yeah. Man, part two is pretty wacky as well.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about Santana in part 2. How he's the first peeler man you see, but
Santana is so intriguing to me because they take you through the whole process of him like learning from everybody else really quickly and kind of freaking them out that way.
Yeah.
And we don't get that with any of the other ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
getting to see, he definitely sets it all up. And then he also sets the next ones up to be more terrifying just because of how intense and hard it was to beat him and who he was. And then you find out that the other ones are more, like, even more difficult to fight against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting about that scene where he like stuffs himself in the vents.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
he's like all rubbery.
I actually thought that those panels were really well drawn.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that his body just fucking Junji Ito style, like contorted and just fit in the vent. I was like, oh.
I think that's an interesting point that you make, especially because it's easy to follow the rules, but it's harder to bend the rules without breaking them. So he, he shows you what it would be like if somebody actually like contorted their physical body and like stuffed themselves into a vent, and you're like, oh, I get what's happening. That's one of the panels that's like, oh, I understand this. Like, I get that. So that I definitely know what you mean by saying that it was very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
What Santana reminds me of, if I was to compare him to another character from another anime or manga, he reminds me a lot of Raditz at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, who Raditz was as a character.
Yeah.
Where he was the most dangerous threat that these characters have ever encountered, and forcing two groups of people to take sides. So Joseph and the Nazis working together
Right.
to overcome.
Yeah.
And in the end, he's actually just a trash mob.
Yeah.
In comparison.
Yeah. He's basically just like, this is a fraction of what real pillar men are like.
Yeah.
Like, this is what they're really like.
Yeah. Exactly. Shoot. Oh, what did you guys think about Speedwagon in this section?
Oh, Robert Edwardo Speedwagon. I love him. He's great.
Speedwagon. Retreat.
Even Speedwagon is afraid. But no, it's kind of cool that they have that callback. I mean, because the only characters returning from part 1 are Speedwagon and Suzy Q. But yeah, it's pretty cool that he's there, and he's a rich oil baron now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Is it weird for me to say that I really liked the panel where his head got kicked in half?
No.
Like right at the beginning when he got kicked and his head just fucking split in half. I was like, what?
There was a lot of people getting split in half, like lots of things happen. Like JoJo's fingers get like split in half in that last fight. The sweet little baby Nazi dude gets like completely diced in half. Mark, was that his name?
Yeah. The young officer.
Yeah, the young like literally walks by and his entire half of his face, body, everything is gone.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that happening in this section. Should we talk about the art? We've already kind of touched on it here and there.
I mean, we can do it. We can have a focused talking point of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys first.
I'm like, it's so weird because I agree that it's definitely muddled. Like during the fights, there was a lot of me just being like, who's on the spikes? Who has their veins or their strings? Is it a vein? Is it a string? Who's touching who's? Like, which veins and which strings are touching tips? I didn't know. So it was very hard to, like, follow. But when it was good, I really liked it. Like, I thought it was really good. And I love the consistency of just the characters constantly being posed dramatically and not just standing there. Like, I love, it may not be like everybody's taste, but I think it's such a quirk and a quality that he just consistently uses that it's really endearing to me. So it could definitely be cleaner, but I just love I also love how distinct the characters are for the most part. Like,
there is nothing like JoJo's.
Exactly.
No,
like
it really is its own thing.
It's just exactly. It's its own thing. And anybody, you could see the character, like the pose and be like, I know what that's inspired by. Like if somebody else does something, it's like JoJo's. Like, I know where that's from, or the character, you just know. Which is a testament to, like, maybe not that the art is absolutely amazing, but it is iconic, and so
Yeah.
I gotta give it there.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to say, like, I don't know what version you guys read of it, or if the Viz, or was it? Yeah, this is Viz. If these hard printings are exactly the same as the original releases, but these color pages are pretty on point.
Yeah.
Those are
like 'em.
cool. Hey, the
And
pigeon!
it is a
The
pigeon.
pigeon!
There's the pigeon, yes.
I
That
was hunting that one down for a
I
couple of
love
minutes,
it.
but
Love it.
yeah, the art is pretty interesting. Stylistically, it's different from everything else I've ever read. But specifically, those colored pages add a lot of personality to it because there's a lot of emphasis on the color red for whatever reason. It's very, very heavily featured, and it accentuates a lot of the shading because there is still a lot of heavy black thrown in there. But that aside, in terms of like the set pieces, I think they're all, at least there's enough variety to the locations that I think they're interesting to look at.
So there's a really very cool infographic sort of thing that's a picture of all the protagonists from JoJo's, the first time we see them and the last time we see them in their respective part. And it's really crazy how much his art evolves over the course of the part. And you kind of don't really notice it until you see how different everyone looks.
Yeah.
And I'll post it here if you want to take a look at it. But
Yeah.
it's very, very there's that. And you can kind of see like what Joseph looked like at the beginning and what he looked like at the end. And I think the biggest one is part one, but you know, his art style's changed so much. And I mean, you know, you kind of think about it, he's been doing it for, 30 plus years. Obviously he's going to change over time, but it's crazy. Like, the just what he tries. I always give him props for just trying weird stuff, like weird poses, weird anatomy, like exaggerated anatomy, weird shots. Like, the shot is composed in a strange and unique way. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was gonna say that even just between part 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since we read part 1, but reading part 2, I was like, even though I think the anatomy like weirds me out sometimes, and I do think that the art could still be cleaner, it's definitely better than what it was in part 1. So I'm excited for us to like keep reading JoJo's and get to the point where we're like, hell yeah, this is like the perfect mesh of like just understanding his style and also evolving it to be like as aesthetically pleasing as possible.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The art, and I mean, like I said, I think parts 3, 4, and 5 are pretty good. There's nothing that sticks out in my mind of anything that really I just kind of looked at the panel and was like, what? But that there are a couple of those in parts 1 and 2, and then, like I said, again in part 6. But I think he sort of gets a handle on what he wants to do with the art and shot composition. But I think he's still sort of finding his footing during the early stuff. But yeah.
Has Araki done anything outside of JoJo's ever?
Yes, he's done. There's another series he had called Bao, Baoh. Other than that, I don't know if he's done any other series, but I could be wrong on that.
Have you read Bao?
No, I've never read Bao. It's sort of like how would I describe it? It's like this guy gets superpowers, but he's an outcast. He's like part of an experimental weapons program. It's really weird. He was a bonus character in All-Star Battle, the most recent JoJo's fighting game. But yeah, I've never actually checked it out.
Oh.
He drew a really sick picture of Naruto.
I saw that.
I have the synopsis for Bao up if you guys want me to read that.
Yeah, read it.
What is it?
All right, this is the My Anime List synopsis for Bao, so bear with me. Teenager Ikuro Hashizawa is kidnapped and turned into a bioweapon with superhuman strength and other abilities, by the Dores Laboratory. He escapes with the help of Sumire, a 10-year-old psychic girl, Professor Kasuminome, head scientist at Dores, sends various assassins and monsters to try and kill Ikuro in means of stopping the Bao virus from spreading and infecting the world.
Mhm.
So it sounds interesting.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
like
okay.
the art of the art kind of feels JoJo-y in terms of like proportions a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. He's done a few other things actually. He did, and somebody in chat brought this up, and I totally forgot about this because there's a reference to it in JoJo's. He did a series called Gorgeous Irene. He's done a few other ones, but JoJo was the first one that really took off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's done a few other things.
I would be interested in reading that because I feel like it'd be so hard for him to separate himself from JoJo's, both in terms of the aesthetic and the portray, like the way he tells the story and how dramatic it is. So I'd be very interested to see if all of his stories are like that same flair and exaggeration of everything, or if it's like a little bit more muted, or what it's like.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff is pretty old, like 1984. Like it's pretty old.
Oh, so it's before.
It's pre-JoJo's. Yeah.
JoJo's. Okay.
Yeah, Gorgeous Irene started in 1980.
Yeah.
And it ran. It's 5 chapters long.
Yeah.
Over the course of 6 years. At least that's what Mal says.
Interesting.
Yeah. There's actually a reference to Gorgeous Irene later on in the series, which somebody had to explain to me. But yeah, it's yeah, he's done other stuff, but I'd always wanted to check it out, or any of his older stuff, but it's very much a product of its time, where it is early 80s manga. It's very early, so it's kind of goofy and nonsensical. So yeah, but I'll check it out at some point probably.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to touch on, or should we wrap up and give our final thoughts and ratings of part 2 of JoJo's?
What was everybody's favorite fight
Oh.
from what we read?
Caesar versus JoJo, because of
That was
Pigeon.
pretty good. Yeah, because
And it's also just pretty. And it's short. It's like the shortest one.
Yeah.
It is.
And easiest to follow.
I like the fight when they first run into AC/DC and Wham and all of them, and he like just fucking takes a huge chunk out of that dude's face.
Yeah, that part was pretty cool.
And then he's like, "Oh man, it's too bad I have to die here, because like, man, I bet if I had like a month, I could totally beat you. But like, I get it. You have to kill me now so that I don't get super powerful and totally beat you." And he's like, "What? I love that fight. That was so dumb.
I really like Santana versus JoJo, because it's got happy and he does the dance, and and Santana just stares at him. That's my favorite one.
I did like part of that where I don't remember what happens, but Santana yells no, and it's like no, and it made me laugh.
For me, it's like I'll agree with Dodger, or it's the same as Dodger's. The whole like JoJo versus Wham, like that entire fight is specifically the aftermath of that, when he realizes, wait, these guys are immortal. I could have asked for 100 years.
Yeah.
Like all of that leading to that goof was amazing. It was just,
It's like, oh
great.
no.
That'd
Awesome.
been really funny.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Final thoughts and ratings. I'm trying to remember what I rated the first part. Hold on. I can pull it up.
Yeah, what were the final ratings? I think I would rate like part 1 like 7.5 out of 10, or like 8 out of 10.
7, 6. No, 7, 7, 7, 7. That's what it was.
7, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
gave
yeah.
it a 7.
7, 7, 7, 7, 7.
Like a 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I was gonna give this part a 7. To be honest.
That's what I was
So-
gonna do.
What? I'm gonna give this part. Well, we'll wait. I'll wait. Give mine last.
Okay. I'll give it a 7. It was enjoyable. It's definitely JoJo's, but I did want it to be a little bit more clear in what was going on. So that's like the big thing that held it back. And since the art is such a major component of JoJo's and what JoJo's is, I think that it's like a pretty major setback for me. So yeah, I would give it a 7.
I was planning on giving it a 7 as well. Like I said, I love JoJo's. It's so entertaining. But I agree with what Dodger said, that in terms of battles and where it really mattered, I was very confused and things were really muddled. But there's a lot of standout stuff that happens, and I love just the world that's built up in terms of JoJo's and just what it is and the bizarre adventure that they're on. It's just so entertaining. I just love what is happening, but I don't think this part plus like part 1, I don't think it's exactly the strongest part of JoJo's just yet. I think we're gonna have to finish part 2 for me to feel feel a lot stronger about this part.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
I'll go next. I'm gonna break this string of 7s with an 8. I think that while this manga definitely, like, this part of the manga definitely had its fair share of shortcomings, it was easily outbalanced by the dynamic of the characters and just how fun of a read it was, and how smooth. Like, maybe panel to panel it wasn't easy to process, but in the grand scheme of things, even with all that exposition, because that's what JoJo's is. JoJo's is exposition of absurd action. Yeah. I found myself just like plowing through this reading without any trouble at all. So I really enjoyed it. I think it's something that everyone needs to at least give a shot, and I think it is the score that really reflects that, reflects the feelings that I have on this manga. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
I think 8 is a really good one to give this one. I think it's an improvement over part 1. I think it's more fun than part 1, because part 1 doesn't have a whole lot of like comedy in it at all.
Yeah.
And I think JoJo's overall has some really good like goofs in it, and they really didn't start happening until this part. And I don't know, I just think Joseph is a much more likable protagonist than Jonathan, because I mean Jonathan is like the cheese pizza of JoJo's, and like everybody likes cheese pizza, but whose favorite pizza is cheese pizza? Like, come on, really?
Calling people out.
Yeah, no, seriously though. If your favorite pizza is like plain cheese pizza, like go look in a mirror and just like stare at yourself for a while. But anyway, well, I'm really doubling down on this. I'm sorry.
You are.
But anyway, so
cheese pizza in particular.
But anyway,
Jonathan is also the vanilla ice cream of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yes, he's vanilla ice cream.
Vanilla ice cream pizza.
Vanilla ice cream pizza, exactly. So anyway, I think it's an improvement over part 1, and I think it's a really strong part, and I think it's a step in the right direction for where he wants to take the overall franchise and story. Yeah. So
awesome.
Good stuff.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up our discussion on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2 Battle Tendency, or chapters 45 through 80. We hope that you guys, sounds like something you're interested in, you definitely go and check it out. I'm going to go ahead and read the description for the manga that we are reading next week, and then everybody in chat gets to guess what it is. It's a fun little game. Good luck on this one. Okay. The manga revolves around blank, pronounced the same as blank. A male middle school student without dreams or motivation, within his normal everyday life. The only one who dotes on him is his female childhood friend Mikan. However, one day, after seeing Mikan in extreme danger, he gains blank powers that surpass human knowledge.
Knowledge.
You're doing Berserk without me?
No.
Offended.
Goofs on goofs.
Is anyone? Let's check YouTube chat. Somebody on YouTube, Random Weirdo Second Channel, just says, "Yeah, I don't know."
This one is a difficult one.
It is. I had never.
Even finding it online in various places proved to be a little bit of a challenge. Like I found it, but
yeah, it does sound like every anime thing ever.
It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You got it.
Part 3.
Part 3.
What is it? Wait, have anybody guessed it yet, or did you say it?
No.
Oh, what is?
Tonight we're reading Battle Angel Alita.
We are.
That's what. Yeah.
Just
that's
like
what it
every
is.
MangaPod.
Should I just say it? Because I'm gonna guess.
I don't think anybody's gonna get it.
Nobody.
What is it? I'm
Nobody
curious
knows.
now.
It's Psych Marashitemo. Marashitemo?
Artistemo.
Yeah. Here.
Okay.
Here,
What's
I'll
the main
post-
character's name? What's the blank pronounced like?
Yeah,
blank?
read the description without the blanks now.
The manga revolves around Psych, pronounced the same as Psych.
Oh, okay, good. That clears it up.
oh no, it's Psyche.
Psyche. Oh. Well, that changes a lot.
Pronounces it's Psyche. And
Psych.
Psych.
Psych. There's a
so
link here.
Psyche.
Here, I'm gonna send it.
Kuzushiro.
The link. I'll put. Oh.
Oh, hey.
Wow.
The alternate titles for this are Psych once again, Psych Mata Shitemo, Psyche Mata Shitemo, the Negative Brain, and Negative Brain. Those are all alternate titles.
I like Psych once again. That's probably my favorite one of that.
It's the best one.
Hey, can I make a personal manga suggestion for anybody looking for something new?
Yes.
Is that the
Okay.
one that you've told me to read a million times?
Yes. Everyone should read
think-
Komi-san wa Komyushu Desu. It's really freaking cute, and I love it.
I feel like you've told me about that one too.
Yes, it's about the girl who everybody thinks is super cool, but it turns out that she just has crippling social anxiety. It's really good. Everybody should read
That
it.
sounds lovely.
Yeah.
It's really cute.
It's
I went
super-
up to his office and he was like, "You cannot leave until you read this." He showed me like 4, because they're short. They're like super short.
really.
Aw.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really
All right. Anybody who wants the link? I got you, fam.
Get us. Get it. Get us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so next week we're reading The Thing, volumes 1 through 4, chapters 1 through 32. So that's what we'll be discussing next week.
Perfection.
Yeah, should we go ahead and shout out our stuff super fast?
Let's do it.
I'm Erin of HappiLeeErin. I have a YouTube channel. I haven't really posted anything on it other than MangaPods. So if you want to go and see all that or any of my previous things that I've done, it's just all sorts of, weeb nonsense. So go ahead and check that out if you want to. I have social media. It's HappiLeeErin all across the everything. The main things I use now are Twitter and Instagram, and I also have been more active on Snapchat. I just use the filters on my baby.
Naturally. That's what babies are for.
Yeah. Creeping people out with egg filters.
Yeah.
Baby. I sent that to you, right, Dodger? Yeah, there was one. I can't remember if I put it on everything, but there's one that's like a carton of eggs. And so it's just, you put your face on every single egg. And Kaylee looked at it and she said she thought it was a baby. And so for the whole 15 seconds, she's just staring into it going, baby.
It's the creepiest. It's just an entire carton of eggs with little faces on them going, baby. It's so terrifying.
Oh, I don't like this at all.
I'll text it to you, Alex.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
That's me.
Hi guys, I'm Dodger. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/dexbonus or YouTube at youtube.com/pressstart-to-continue. And you can find me at dexbonus on pretty much everything. I'm not going to tell you what's going on with my shit because I don't know, because I'm literally leaving for Italy tomorrow and I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks because I'm getting married. So,
Yay!
So, so my schedule is going to be a little fucked, but I think you're rad, and I will still be trying to make YouTube videos. I will still be trying to stream, so we'll see how it goes, and yeah, maybe we can hang out. The end.
Yeah.
My name's Lou. and my YouTube channel is Lou Talks Anime Now, where I don't talk about anime because I haven't made a video in forever. That's fine though. It's fine. I actually have my editing software open because to hell with sleep. I'm just gonna edit videos, and yeah, it's my life now. Also, social media stuff. Lou Talks Anime. I'm way more active on Twitter than anything. You can see my daughter's new cool haircut.
Oh, it's
Pretty
so
great.
awesome.
It's so cool. I was
I'm
like,
jelly. I'm so
jealous.
jelly.
I'm so
Yes.
jealous.
So jealous.
Like she's just like I was just looking at stuff online, and she like just scrolling, and she's like, "Oh, that's cool," and it was just an undercut with the design on it. So she's 7 years old, and I'm like, "Do you want to do something cool to your hair?" And she's like, "Yeah." So we went on Google Images. She picked the design, and there it is.
She
Aw.
got,
She
got
got,
like one of the design undercuts.
Cool
Oh,
dad.
it's so cool. I'm so jelly.
Yeah.
Nice, that's awesome.
They looks great on her too.
Hey, what up? I'm Octo. You can find me on Friendster and Zanga at Octopimp. I make a
Chatterbait. as
Chatterbait.
Octopimp.
at,
Live journal.
Chatterbait.com/loadqueen. Check me out. You can yeah. So I make a show called 50% Off. It's dumb. Don't watch it. Anyway, thanks for having me on, guys.
Amazing.
It's really
Good.
funny. Please
Thank you.
don't
I
listen
appreciate.
to him.
I
Go watch
appreciate
his.
that.
Go watch his content.
Thank you.
I think we actually watched a video of it before we had our JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, that was like
day?
an old. Yeah,
Because
that
it was like right
when I was-
before it. And
Yeah,
that
when
was
it's,
the
like,
first time you met Sam. I remember because
Yep.
you got there and Roger went, Sam, this is the guy who made that really funny video for free.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
I remember that. Yeah, and Sam was like, yeah, because Sam kept being like, the only way that I'll watch that fucking show is if it's one of his videos.
That's very flattering.
Paid it
from
free,
Sam.
but he thought your videos were so funny. He was like, that's the only
great.
way I'll watch free.
Thank you. That's good to know.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We love
Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having
As
me.
always.
Anytime.
Yes.
And happy belated birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, Yay! Thank you.
Uh,
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we love having you as always, and thank you all, everybody in chat. Thank you so much for watching, whether you're watching it on Twitch, YouTube Live, or the VOD. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We will be here same time, same place next week. Oh, before we go, we have a subreddit if you want more MangaPod. It's reddit.com/r/MangaPod. The next schedule will be going up there super soon. I'm so excited for you guys to check out what's gonna be on there. We're all really excited about it. So that'll be coming up soon. Make sure to watch subreddit for that. There's also recommendation threads there. If there's something that you want us to read for the next schedule, go ahead and put that there. So we'll be here same time, same place next week, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. We hope you'll join us, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 JoJo.